Hi everyone! We are here in the Fossil Lab at the National Museum of Natural History, and we're going to come check out the research of Advait. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, so my name is Advait Zucker, and I'm a PhD student at George Mason, and I'm in the Department of Environmental Science and Policy, but my focus is on the macroecology of mammals in the Pleistocene. Basically, I try and see how things like mammoths and mastodons responded to Pleistocene climate changes. But what I'm doing here is actually completely different from that. I'm working on dinosaurs from the Lance Formation in Wyoming, and these animals are about 66 million years old. At about that same time, T-Rex and Triceratops were roaming Wyoming as well. So these are small animals that lived alongside. So what you're looking at here are teeth from predatory dinosaurs called theropods. What's neat about these animals is that they all have different kinds of teeth, and every species seems to have some sort of a unique tooth morphology or shape. However, we actually don't know how many species there were from this formation because all we have is their teeth. We actually don't have any associated skeletons. So one way of figuring out how many species there were is to analyze their teeth, take different measurements, and then run some statistical analyses to see if these teeth will cluster out separately. Now, if these clusters match up with our prior classification, then we know that we have a certain number of species and that these teeth match up with a particular taxa.
So what are we looking at on the screen here?
So on the screen here is a tooth from an animal that we think is a troodon. A troodon, like I said earlier, is a small theropod. So this is a small predatory dinosaur. It probably ate small animals like lizards and frogs, maybe even scavenged on other dinosaurs. So this is a fairly small tooth. It's blown up on the screen, but in actual
again,
size.
Let's see, guys. See how small this is? Like, here's my hand, and these are the tiny, tiny dinosaur teeth we're looking at. So we're gonna go back up to the screen.
Yeah, I can actually put a scale bar on this,
Okay.
which can show you how big this tooth is. So that's 3 millimeters there. So this is a very, very tiny tooth.
And this is the microscope that we're looking at this on. And we have it enlarged over here on the screen.
So this microscope is attached to a camera.
Oh, here we go.
Right here. So whatever I see under this scope gets projected onto the screen so that I can see it, and then the people coming to see Fossil Lab.
Yeah, there's an extra screen there
well.
so that everyone can see it outside. Okay. So you said this was a great example of the serrated edge.
Yeah, this is
really
a great
nice.
example of a serrated edge. So theropods have these serrations on the edges of their teeth, and they kind of act like steak knives. If you think about a steak knife, it's also serrated, and it helped these animals cut through flesh.
Okay. What else do you want to show us right now?
So this is something that I was working on a couple of years ago. These are all of the different fossils from the Lance Formation. So from the same formation as these small theropods, and from the same formation that we get animals like Tyrannosaurus and Triceratops.
Okay.
And what's really neat about this collection is that we see lots of different kinds of critters. So things like fish and amphibians and crocodiles and other small dinosaurs. We also get interesting fish like the gar. These are vertebrae or the backbones from a fish called the gar, and gars are still living today in the rivers of North America. So you can actually still see these in the United States.
Oh wow. And how old are these ones?
These are 66 million years old.
Wow. What else do we have here?
So I also have a whole bunch of different theropod teeth, including a tooth from what I think is a baby T-Rex.
Baby T-Rex.
And even for a baby T-Rex,
Wow.
that's a pretty big tooth.
What are the edges of that like?
Well, this is a fairly worn down tooth. It was probably eaten by something or it's been tumbled through a lot, so we don't see too many serrations. But on other tyrannosaur teeth that I have here, we do see some fine serrations as well. So just like the adult tyrannosaurs, the juveniles also had sharp edges with serrations, which would help them cut through flesh.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. This has been
You're
a
welcome.
wonderful treat to visit Fossil Lab. Bye, Advite.
Thank you.
Thank you.